Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the 10th group. We will present our material by the title Connected Speech, Rhythm and Assimilation. Arranged by Nazila Nila Qurnia, Nita Miftahul Fuadah, and Virdha Fitriana Dhewi. So, enjoy our presentation, guys. Okay, the first, I will explain about rhythm. Rhythm generally means a movement marked by the regulated suggestions of strong and weak elements, or of opposite or different conditions. Theory that English has stressed time rhythm implies that stress syllables will tend to occur at relatively regular intervals, whether they are separated by unstressed syllable or not. Now, you can see the example. There are 10 words. At the sentence, walk down the path to the end of the canal. In this sentence, the stressed syllables are given numbers. Syllable 1 and 2 are not separated by any unstressed syllables. Meanwhile, 2 and 3 are separated by one unstressed syllable. 3 and 4 by 2 and 4 by 5 by 3. Okay. To understand how this could be done, let's start with a simple example. At the PowerPoint, you can see the word 20. The word 20 has one strong and one weak syllable, forming one foot. You can see at that diagram that its rhythmical structure can be made, where S stands for strong and W stands for weak. Now consider the phrase 20 places, where places will normally carry stronger stress than 20. 20 places. Okay. By analyzing speech in this way, we are able to show the relationship between strong and weak elements and the different level of stress that we find. You can see at the picture at that PowerPoint. The above pattern may be correct for very slow speech, but we must now look at what happens to the rhythm in normal speech. Many English speakers would feel that, although in 20 places the right hand foot is the stronger and the word 20 is stronger than places in 20 places farther back, when spoken in conversational style. Okay, 20 places farther back. Okay guys, then what then is the practical value of the traditional rhythm exercise for foreign learners? So, rhythm exercise, it can be helpful to practice repeating strongly rhythmical utterance, since this forces the speaker to concentrate on making unstressed syllable weak. Speakers of languages like Japanese, Hungarian, and Spanish, which do not have weak syllable to anything like the same extent as English does, may well find such exercises of some value, as long as they are not ever down to the point where learners feel they have to speak English as though they were reciting verse.
The next is assimilation. Assimilation is a common phonetical process by which the sound of the ending of one word blends into the sound of the beginning of the following word. Assimilation means that sound belonging to one word can cause changes in sounds belonging to neighboring words. List of assimilation in English involves alveolar stops, which change their place of articulation to bilabial or velar depending on the surrounding sound, or alveolar fricative, which may change their place of articulation to post-alveolar, which followed by post-alveolar or palatal consonant. And there we will study 3 different types of place assimilation in English, which classified according to the types of sounds which undergo the process: alveolar stops, alveolar fricative, alveolar syllabic nasals. Occasionally, two sounds may influence one another in reciprocal assimilations. When such a change results in a single segment with some of the features of both components, it is known as coalescence or fusion. Assimilation patterns manifest three types. 1. Phonetic free variations of or contextual assimilations. The change affects a certain segment by selecting a certain variant of that segment. For example, m in terms and nim is rendered m. Labiodental nasals instead of bilabial m. Similarly, infant n is often rendered as m. L is diffused after v and g in flight and clean and lips are round in the articulation of p, g and l in pull, cool, loom, respectively, due to the occurrence of round vowel u immediately after this consonant segment. Second, phonemic assimilations is often referred to as neutralization or syncretism. It is more systematic, i.e., not subject to free variations. It also results in the neutralization of two phonemes. For example, n and n are neutrals in thing. F and f is have to. The and s in newspaper, and so on. Difference states that some assimilations, such as in newspaper, are obligatory within word boundaries. However, they are optional and tend to be more frequent in the informal and relaxed the speaking style.
Morphological or morphophonemic assimilation is one which affects a whole morpheme. It usually decides the morpheme variant allomorph according to morphophonemic rule. For example, the distribution of s suffix, plural, third person singular, possessive, contracted form is and has. So three allomorph s after voiceless consonants, stops, root, Phillips, and it. Z after voiced segments, goes, boys, toms, his. Is after sibilant consonants, ridges, bridges, James, and Georges. It is not merely coincidence that is responsible for the allomorphs of the plural morpheme and the third person plural being z, s, and is. The suffix occurs in voicing with the preceding sound. The distribution of ed suffix, past, and past participle shows three allomorphs. The voiced segments is killed and named. T after voiceless consonants is looked, stopped, and reached. ID after T and D is wanted and added. The distribution of the prefix shows the following allomorphs. IL before L is illegal and illegitimate. IR before R is irregular. I am before labial is immoral, impersonal, and immortal. From the point of view of the distribution of change, assimilation can be progressive or regressive. When the change involves the following sound, it is called regressive assimilation, and when it involves a preceding sound, it is called progressive assimilation. Another way you can look in some rules for assimilation. The phonemes T, D, and N often become bilabial before bilabial consonants P, B, and M. Example, he's rather fat boy. T assimilates to K before K or G. D assimilates to G before K or G. Example, she's very good girl. L can assimilate to before K or G. Example, he's bringing his own car. S can assimilate to before. Example, I really love this shiny one over here. T can assimilate to before. Example, we found this lovely little cheese shop in Paris. T and G combine to form T. Example, you went to France last year. Didn't you? D and G combine to form T. Example, would you like a cup of tea? In summary, rhythm is the sense of movement in speech marked by the stress, timing, and quantity of syllables, and rhythm involves some noticeable event happening at regular intervals of time. In speaking English, we vary in how rhythmically we speak. Sometimes we speak very rhythmically. This is typical of some styles of public speaking, while at other times we speak arrhythmically, that is without rhythm. For example, when we are hesitant or nervous. Stress-timed rhythm is thus perhaps characteristic of one style of speaking, not of English speech as a whole. Assimilation is a common phonological process by which the sound of the ending of one word blends into the sound of the beginning of the following word, and is the process by which two or more sounds become more similar to each other.
Okay, guys, those are from us. Thanks a lot for your nice attention, and we do apologize for all mistakes we have done. The last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.